Main Quotes presents Best Quotes from Confucius. You cannot open a book without learning something. If I am walking with two other men, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of the one and imitate them, and the bad points of the other and correct them in myself. Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. Never contract friendship with a man that is not better than thyself. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. I hear, I know, I see, I remember, I do, I understand. It is easy to hate, and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. To see what is right and not to do it is want of courage or of principle. A superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it, this is knowledge. When anger rises, think of the consequences. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the three universally recognized moral qualities of men. It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. If you think in terms of a year, plant a seed. If in terms of 10 years, plant trees. If in terms of 100 years, teach the people. If we don't know life, how can we know death? If you look into your own heart and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. To see the right and not to do it is cowardice. To see and listen to the wicked is already the beginning of wickedness. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. The cautious seldom err. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. To go beyond is as wrong as to fall short. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. Humility is the solid foundation of all virtues. Study the past if you would divine the future. Old age, believe me, is a good and pleasant thing. It is true, you are gently shouldered off the stage, but then you are given such a comfortable front stall as spectator. Do not impose on others what you yourself do not desire. He who speaks without modesty will find it difficult to make his words good. A gentleman would be ashamed should his deeds not match his words. In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. The superior man acts before he speaks, and afterwards speaks according to his action. Heaven means to be one with God. To practice 5 things under all circumstances constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. The superior man understands what is right. The inferior man understands what will sell. Death and life have their determined appointments. Riches and honors depend upon heaven. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. By three methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. The strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. They must often change who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. Virtue is not left to stand alone. He who practices it will have neighbors. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. A youth, when at home, should be filial and abroad, respectful to his elders. He should be earnest and truthful. He should overflow in love to all and cultivate the friendship of the good. When he has time and opportunity, after the performance of these things, he should employ them in polite studies. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Never give a sword to a man who can't dance. An oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? The superior man thinks always of virtue. The common man thinks of comfort. The superior man does not, even for the space of a single meal, act contrary to virtue. In moments of haste, he cleaves to it. In seasons of danger, he cleaves to it. When we see persons of worth, we should think of equaling them. When we see persons of a contrary character, we should turn inwards and examine ourselves. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability. He is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability that he has. I am not one who was born in the possession of knowledge. I am one who is fond of antiquity and earnest in seeking it there. Speak the truth. Do not yield to anger. Give if thou art asked for little. By these three steps thou wilt go near the gods. He who acts with a constant view to his own advantage will be much murmured against. To those whose talents are above mediocrity, the highest subjects may be announced. To those who are below mediocrity, the highest subjects may not be announced. The object of the superior man is truth. Instead of being concerned that you have no office, be concerned to think how you may fit yourself for office. Instead of being concerned that you are not known, seek to be worthy of being known. Look at the means which a man employs. Consider his motives. Observe his pleasures. A man simply cannot conceal himself. The firm, the enduring, the simple, and the modest are near to virtue. I will not be concerned at other men's not knowing me. I will be concerned at my own want of ability. Look not at what is contrary to propriety. Listen not to what is contrary to propriety. Speak not what is contrary to propriety. Make no movement which is contrary to propriety. I want you to be everything that's you, deep at the center of your being. When you are laboring for others, let it be with the same zeal as if it were for yourself. There are three methods to gaining wisdom. The first is reflection, which is the highest. The second is limitation, which is the easiest. The third is experience, which is the bitterest. The faults of a superior person are like the sun and moon. They have their faults, and everyone sees them. They change, and everyone looks up to them. Virtuous people often revenge themselves for the constraints to which they submit by the boredom which they inspire. The superior man makes the difficulty to be overcome his first interest. Success only comes later. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. Ability will never catch up with the demand for it. To rule a country of 1,000 chariots, there must be reverent attention to business and sincerity, economy in expenditure and love for men, and the employment of the people at the proper seasons. How to play music may be known. At the commencement of the piece, all the parts should sound together. As it proceeds, they should be in harmony while severally distinct and flowing without break, and thus on to the conclusion. Go before the people with your example and be laborious in their affairs. The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. If some years were added to my life, I would give 50 to the study of the Yi, and then I might come to be without great faults. He who exercises government by means of his virtue may be compared to the North Polar Star, which keeps its place, and all the stars turn towards it. The book salesman should be honored because he brings to our attention, as a rule, the very books we need most and neglect most. If you chase 2 rabbits, you catch none. Cultivate the root. The leaves and branches will take care of themselves. There are 1,000 lessons in defeat, but only one in victory. Do not wish for quick results, nor look for small advantages. If you seek quick results, you will not reach the ultimate goal. If you are led astray by small advantages, you will never accomplish great things. A great man is hard on himself. A small man is hard on others. Man shoot at nothing, sure to hit it. Tell people, and they may forget. Show them, they may remember, but involve them, and they will understand. He who cannot describe the problem will never find the solution to that problem. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. The gods cannot help those who do not seize opportunities. Happiness does not consist in having what you want, but in wanting what you have. Remember, even when alone, that the divine is everywhere. A man is great, not because he hasn't failed. A man is great because failure hasn't stopped him.